iPads are useful for their purpose, but they are no substitute for brains.
All right, here we go.
I have to say, well done, Ray. Well done. Well played, my adversary. Well played.
Phoenix isn't gay, but if he was, he'd pick Fremont.
Oh yeah, he'd be living down there with you in the bunker, man. Woo!
Once you go free, you always do the Z.
Like one day I'm not going to Duncan, and you could get a controller, a new Xbox, possibly even a cord.
The hosts of the longest running podcast in Rhode Island. Oh shit, really?
Welcome to BGFG, episode 394. I'm your host, Chris Phoenix, and joining me, as always, my brother from another mother, Mr. Fremo Z. How are you doing this week, sir?
You think you're going to slide that in there and I'm not going to notice?
What?
Longest running podcast in Rhode Island?
It is.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not, but you just slid that into the intro.
I try to switch it up every once in a while.
All right.
How are you doing this week, sir?
I'm doing well. How's the county of Rhode Island faring?
Wet and sloppy. We had some weather up here, and as I drove to something I had to go to today, the drive got progressively more snowy and wet.
Snowy?
Yeah.
Really?
Wait a minute.
Okay.
What is it like down there?
We hit 75 yesterday. Probably going to be about that, maybe creeping towards 80 today.
Ain't that some shit? I got rain in 30 degrees, 37 degrees right now. Yeah, it's awful. It's just disgusting. You don't want to go anywhere. So how you doing this week? Anything
Yeah, we
special?
had 2 or 3 days of that earlier, like a month ago.
Yeah. Did you have the cold snap? We did.
Oh yeah.
What was your temperature?
We got down into the teens overnight. One night.
Ouch. That's gonna suck, buddy.
Yeah, below freezing for 2.5 days.
That's awful. My heart
Oh, no.
bleeds.
Hibernation time.
Me and Pocket Porkins just feel for you while we had -10 up here. Like people's pipes are freezing everywhere.
I mean, I've offered, if you want to stay up there, stay up there.
Yeah, I know. And it's going to happen eventually. It will. All right, we got a lot of show today. A lot of very strange stuff in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So let's get into this week's news.
BGFG News. You heard it here third.
So first up in this week's news, I just want to say, we've talked about it before on the show, it's not always balloons. It's not always spy networks and satellites. It's not always UFOs. I mean, again, Fremont and I pointed out before on the show that a UFO is an unidentified flying object, correct? Stop shaking your head.
It is now, and I don't know why, but it is not correct to say UFO anymore.
What's it? What do you mean?
Apparently, flying objects took offense at that. It is now called unidentified aerial phenomenon.
I mean, okay. All right. That's fine. I guess it's still the same. I mean, we don't know what it is, but they shut down a bunch of them.
Is it the same?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I want to stand by that.
Because one talks about things that are flying, and the other one doesn't mention flying. It just be something that's just there.
Right, but it's hovering, which would be flying.
Like a Cookie Monster shaped cloud could be an unidentified aerial phenomenon if you don't have the right angle on it. It could look like something else.
Okay, that's fair. And we're venturing down Zootopia Null real quick, because there was a whole thing in Japan that city was hovering above the city which was weird. They're like, no, it's a mirror effect. No, it's not. Something happened somewhere.
And folks, that's how easy it is to derail this show.
Man,
Mention
fuck you.
Cookie Monster. No, I'm guilty of it too. But
So, so last week we talked about the U.S. military called off. Well, not last week. Well, yeah, last week the U.S. military called off a search for 2 of the UFOs that were shot down out of the sky, and we talked about it here on the show where we kind of deconstructed it in a subtopian null type sense that these weren't necessarily. You don't know what they were. Like there's still been no
we have
talk
a pretty
about.
good idea this week.
We do, which is great. Hold on, we'll get to that. So we reported before, and don't forget, you heard it here third, that the stuff that was shot down was supposed to be a balloon put up by the Chinese government with spy satellites on it. Now, Fremont and I kind of debunked this. Like, look, it's 2023. There's no need to set up a balloon to do this, and not to mention it went all the way across. We have NORAD, and it went all the way across the continental U.S. before it got shot down. So there's a lot of things to debunk and talk about in that. But now here we are in this week, and we're probably never going to know what happened. But they can't. Go ahead.
But I can tell you why we went from deciding whether or not to shoot one down to shooting down 3 or 4 things in a week.
What is that?
General, we've got another. I don't care. Just shoot it down. I'm not going through that conversation with the president again. Just shoot it down. You see something you don't like it, pull the trigger, son.
You see what I had to do? Do you see what I had to come out on the media and say? I am a colonel. Okay, you know that destroyed my career. To say that NORAD couldn't see this shit.
So we got pilots whizzing around all over the country just looking for stuff. Just if it's going down, it's going down. I can't wait for the Predator drone pilots to like get in on that. Like, man, these guys are having all the fun. I'm gonna go find me something to shoot down.
Yeah, those guys are playing
unexplained disappearances. The entire bald eagle population of the country seems to have disappeared. On another note,
in other news,
illegal eagle feather sales are skyrocketing.
It's a shame when you see it, but they can't even find debris from the ones they shot down.
I wonder why.
Because it probably was like paper mache. It just dissipated everywhere.
I'm thinking if it turns out to be what this other group of people said it was, it would make sense that there's no debris to find.
Right. So I did some Scooby-Dooing, and I found out that on Aviation Week website, conveniently, the North Illinois Bottle Cap Balloon Brigade had put up. Yeah, go ahead, chew on that for a minute. The Bottle Cap Balloon Brigade was putting up balloons, and they launched these Pico balloons all the time. They launch off the coast of Alaska. They have weather tracking stuff in them. They work with NOAA, the National Organization. What the hell is it? National Organization for
North Atlantic. National Oceanic something. Yeah. I don't know. I have to brush up on my governmental acronyms.
But they said that too. And they also said, so this group also said that they've contacted the military and the FBI numerous times and got the runaround.
National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
Okay. So they worked with
NOAA.
They put up these Pico balloons in order to track atmospheric pressure. Excuse me, to go through the Gulf Stream. They put in the balloons, run through the Gulf Stream. What is it? The Gulf Stream? I don't even think it's the Gulf Stream. The wind stream.
Wait, the jet stream.
Jet stream. To run across the.
Just real quick before we go too far into this, just to recap on what was shot down. Possible
God.
Chinese spy balloon that a lot
Yep.
of people saw. And then the other devices that were shot down that they aren't sure what they were these small, spherical, metallic looking devices that seem to have no propulsion, visible propulsion, or means of staying afloat.
Correct.
Continue.
So it's definitely a situation where, don't look over here kind of type thing, which we've done on the show so many times.
Nothing to see here.
I just had a question. So this bottle cap brigade people are putting these atmospheric
Correct.
weather-related tracking balloons
Right.
up in the air. What do these balloons look like?
Well, Free, I'm glad you asked. These balloons look like just basic balloons. They're very thin. In fact, they get upset a lot of times.
Do they come in like pink, blue, yellow, green?
Free. They have multiple colors. They're very thin materials, so even a bird bumping into them can possibly rip it and it can run down. And they do this all the time, and they have issues all the time. And they usually work with the military and the FAA to make sure that they know the current path. They check it all the time. Now, some of the members have gone online and said that they woke up one morning, looked at it and went, oh, fuck, it's not where it was supposed to be. And just tried to call the FBI and the military, and them were like, oh, I don't know what you know. Hold on, you crazy person, crazy citizen.
The only reason I ask is because I'm looking at the picture from this one article, and the balloon that they're holding or in the process of inflating looks like a mylar, silver mylar, possibly. It's got a sheen to it.
Oh my
God, that is
And looks like it's going to end up being cylindrical in shape.
Strange. Almost like a circle, you're saying.
I mean, possibly a little elliptical, but yeah,
Sure.
So a silver elliptical device up in the air with no visible means of propulsion or way of staying afloat. Helium. And they're missing some of these?
They are.
And are they missing them from, say, somewhere over Alaska and maybe Lake Huron, close to Michigan?
Now that you say that, yes, including Montana. Kind of, if you look at the map.
And the government can't find any debris from some things they shot down using freaking missiles.
Yeah. Yes, Free.
So I'm thinking if a balloon got hit with a missile, there's probably about like shooting a quail point blank with a 12 gauge. There ain't going to be a whole lot left.
There's not a lot. There's not.
Okay.
Okay. So maybe
I think your Scooby-Dooing has solved it.
so
the
maybe the
military would
mysteries
have gotten away with it if it wasn't for these darn bottle cap kids.
they would have gotten away with it. Another mystery is how do you ever notice how lately, like, even like, I cannot believe how much ChatGPT and OpenAI has, or AI in general, has exploded in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's absolutely unbelievable.
It's everywhere. Everyone's talking about it. Everybody's trying to do it. I've yet to engage with ChatGPT.
Oh, I have. Make no worries. We had to do a report, and I decided to do ChatGPT on it. And I used that. Great. Awesome.
Did you use ChatGPT to write a report on ChatGPT?
No, I used ChatGPT to write a report for something at work.
Nice. I think I'm going to come up with some very good questions for my
Well, don't
segments when I get my segments, instead of just having dead mic because you're not back yet or whatever.
Yeah.
And just reviewing my questions and answers.
Well, you're going to be disappointed.
Why's that?
Because not necessarily you, but other people think this is going to be the next evolution in internet and thinking and all sorts of stuff. But there's already a problem. So Google says theirs is still in development. Microsoft is somewhat adding AI results to their Bing searches. But the problem is that more and more are starting to realize that ChatGPT gives wrong answers. It just does.
Yeah.
Factual answers.
It bases its knowledge
Yeah.
on what's on the internet. So
Yeah, well,
it's gonna give erroneous information all the time. If the popular consensus on the internet was that the Earth is flat, then ChatGPT would tell you the Earth is flat,
Right. And
whether that's right or not.
Yeah, so I don't, how can I put this in an eloquent way? The information you get, like if you asked it to write a poem about BGFG podcast, it'll write a poem about it. And it'll be great. If you ask it, tell me the synopsis of the outcome of the 1812 war, or how was the 10-year war? How long was it?
Yeah.
It's a very good possibility it's going to give the wrong information because you have douchebags like me and Fremo on on the internet that'll go, how long was the 10-year war? That shit was like 30, 40 years still going on. Or it was 2 years. I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
We're going to do that shit because it's just the internet's way. Like, if you want facts, go get facts.
Think about it this way. There is a guy who does videos where he asks people, usually
on the
Gen
street.
Z. Yeah.
Yeah.
He asks them questions like, what's 3 times 3 times 3? And, and what country, what country did fought in the Mexican-American War? And people can't get the right answers. Well, this information is out there. It's on the internet.
I don't even say the internet.
And ChatGPT has access to all this information, all the transcripts from all these videos.
Yeah.
And it's sorting through. And if it decides, oh, well, this person said that the Philippines and America were in the Mexican-American War, it might decide to use that information.
But I think it's bigger than that in that case.
Well, it is. But I mean, I'm trying to boil it down to a simple example. But
right.
I mean, what's the don't kiss a frog, you'll get warts. That's like an old wives' tale, right?
Yeah.
We all know that's not how you get warts now. But if the prevalent thinking of the time is incorrect, and the prevalent thinking of the time is the majority of what's on the internet, then that's what ChatGPT is giving you, whether it's correct or not.
Right. And it's going to give you wrong information at times. When you ask specific queries, it's going to give you wrong information. It's not a perfect. So, again, we talked before on the show about how this might be something that takes over the world. It could be. AI is a problem. If you don't regulate it, it is a problem.
This is going to take over the world.
But ChatGPT and OpenAI is not.
If it does, I'll challenge it to a chess match, 1-on-1.
Right.
Winner take all.
Right. The guy that made the CEO of OpenAI literally said, we reported on the show like 2 episodes ago. He literally said, ChatGPT 3 and 4 is in development. You're not going to like what you find. And that's the reason, like Fremo alluded to just a few moments ago, put it to a chess match. That's pure logic. Okay. I can play chess, but I'm not even remotely close to any of these people. I'm not even close to the people in a park. Like, I'm not there. But a Reddit user went up and set a chess match against ChatGPT. It was the chess engine called Stockfish.
Yeah.
Excuse me, which is what they use to test, I guess, train chess people. It's an engine they use. It's very good. And it went against ChatGPT. Well, that didn't go so great because not only did ChatGPT lose, but it also cheated a lot. I put a link in the show notes, and you got to take a look. ChatGPT cheated a lot.
Yeah.
And it is pretty.
My favorite one that someone commented on
was
there was a bishop and a rook.
Oh
on the
yeah, I
back
saw that
row.
one. Oh my god.
It moved the rook through the bishop to the other side of the board, and the guys. Let me talk about it real quick.
It was so good.
Which obviously you can't do, right? You can't just like move
Right.
through a piece like that. And yeah, this move, yeah. And someone said this move is called the atheist because it assumes that bishops don't exist.
That was good. I saw that.
And the funny thing is, it still lost horribly, even with all the
Oh
illegal
my
moves
god.
it made.
Oh, horribly. You know what else? Like ChatGPT isn't what you quite think.
What's that?
Foldable devices, my friend.
Oh yeah.
Let me talk to you a little bit about foldable devices because I happen to have some experience.
You talking like a wallet or
No, I'm
a
talking about
box?
nope. I'm talking about Samsung's Flip and Fold. So
Okay.
these two phones, you're paying premiums, and I do mean premiums. You're paying over $1,000 for these phones, and they are not good, people. Trust me when I tell you, we're tech people, me and Fremo, and they are just legitimately not good. In fact, Antonio Lewis has filed a class action lawsuit against Samsung, and it's going to stick. It's going to stick. I guarantee you. I can't tell you how many people already that I've spoken to, literally dozens of people that I've spoken to in my job that have said that they've already known about this class action lawsuit and they're jumping on it as well because it's ridiculous. So Samsung claims that these phones hold up to rigorous tests. They said that they fold them over 200,000 times, which is equivalent to about 5 years of use. Doubt it. I mean, my kids probably look at their iPhones every, 3,000 times in a day.
Well, here's my thing. You may sit there and have this thing doing that 200,000 times to see
Yep.
what the wear and tear on it is. Okay.
Okay.
But that's not how it gets used. You fold it, you stick it in your pocket. It's got pressure on it.
Heat.
It's rubbing up against fabric. It's,
It's
getting
got heat.
slid into the cup holder in a car. It's, you know what I'm saying? I mean, all these different things that are involved in between.
I'm going to say it for a third time. Heat. Like heat. A lot
I
of
think
these
heat
things
is
have.
probably a factor.
Yeah, because there's adhesive. Fuck you. There's adhesive, and the heat from your pocket or whatever, or having your girl sit on your lap, whatever the fuck you're doing, all that stuff contributes. These things, I can tell you for a fact, don't last 6 months in some cases.
Yeah.
They don't.
I actually had someone a couple months ago that had one, and they're like, "Oh, have you seen one of these yet? It's great." Da, 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 da. And I was like, "Oh, well, if you like it, that's awesome. If it works for you." I was like, "That's just not something I would carry." I just left it at that.
No. And now everyone's talking about the reason why I brought up the story is because everyone's talking about the Apple patent. So Apple released a patent that is for a foldable device. Now, I've known through my sources that they've had that in the pipeline since the Flip came out. And I just want to tell everybody just calm down. Just calm down. Because it like I said, it's been an R&D forever. And of course they're watching Samsung. They're going to. It's their only competitor. So they're going to watch what they do, and Samsung in turn is going to watch what Apple does. Samsung has a better camera. It can zoom 100 times. I've seen it. It's incredible. It's impressive. Great. Who has the basic camera that's better? Take your pick on each phone iteration. If it's Samsung on the S23, which is the newest one they have, or is it going to be the iPhone 15 that comes out? Who the knows? Only people that are huge photographers are going to know that. The Apple patent was approved this week for a foldable device with some touch buttons on the side. And that's great. That's kind of what you expect because it's their competition. But make no mistake, Apple can't get it to work. They can't. This is normal for large businesses.
Well, it's not that they can't get it to work. they can't get it to work at the standard that they want it to be at. They could probably release what they have now, and it would be somewhat comparable to the Samsung.
Right, but you'd be in the same boat. Right.
Samsung brought it to the market just to be first with it. They know that it's crap. They're going to continue to make it better as time goes on. Apple's not going to do that. They're not going to release something that is subpar.
Right. They never have.
I mean, because they originally filed it back in 2021. It's been almost 2 full years since they originally filed it before it was even granted.
Right.
Which means that they probably have not put a lot of work into the actual physical development of it over the last 2 years because they don't have the patent yet.
Right. And
so now that they have the patent, it's going to probably be another couple years before they actually get a viable product that they're happy with that they will release. Which
if they do,
if they do,
because they're watching Samsung obviously, and Samsung folds and flips are failing. They've even redesigned several of them, and they're failing. Even the redesigns are failing. I deal with them every day. And then you add to the fact that there's a class action lawsuit because it's so bad. Like there's certain times of the month that we're refusing the repairs because we don't have enough room. Like our literal bench is entirely full of those phones. We can't afford any more phones. I mean, do you want to wait for your phone for a month? Nobody does. So I don't see Apple having one come out anymore at all. I just don't. I think it's a lost cause.
If they do, like I said, it'll be at least a couple years before if they end up releasing something, it would not be any sooner than 2-3 years, in my opinion. I think eventually they will, because I think something will happen as far as development. Yeah, something will give. You throw enough time and money
R&D.
I mean, look at where we've come. I mean, we're sitting here talking about foldables and their crap. 10 years ago, that wasn't possible.
No, and now we have phones that are literally
10 years ago, you could not have gotten a phone that thin to do
not even that thin.
What this
the power of it.
That's what I'm saying. You would have had to have had, a huge battery off the back of this thing 10 years ago to get the same amount of time that I get out of this today.
Right.
So I mean, as improvements in technology are made, will this, and maybe it's something, maybe it's because we covered like 10 years ago, a screen that
LG
flexible
screen.
Now, granted, it's not touch screen; it's just a flexible screen that you could view on. But I mean, so you have that, all this stuff will get married together at some point in a viable foldable. Scroll type product, whatever it ends up being, will happen, and Apple will have their iteration of it. But I think you're absolutely right. It's not going to happen until there's a leap in the technology, which will happen.
There can't be, because like Fremo said, 10 years ago, CES 2013, we reported here on this show that LG had an unfoldable screen, like a scroll almost, and that's still viable technology. They brought it out every once in a while, but even LG is like, that's not ready for prime time.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just a matter of when the right person on the right amount of sleep deprivation and caffeine and Red Bull and whatever
right
has that breakthrough moment. I mean, think about USB 3, not even USB 3, USB-C now.
Yeah.
What it's capable of.
Yep.
5 years ago, that wasn't a thing.
And I'll bag on Apple on that too, because they've struggled and have not implemented it except in their computers, their phones, which are their biggest sellers. They are not implementing it until now.
Well, it's USB-C on the power plug-in side.
Right.
But not on the device side.
That changes next year.
And they did that. Yeah, well, they did that to accommodate the European Union that said devices, everything has to be USB-C plug-in.
Yeah, people need to realize
we'll
that.
We'll do it on the outlet end, but we're still going to hold on to our proprietary on the other end. It's like, really? So now you're having but whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it'll happen. Foldables will happen, or some kind of smaller that becomes bigger device will happen. Whether it's a fold, whether it's
it's
um,
inevitable. It's
a
technology.
scroll,
Yeah.
whatever.
But companies are going to continue to cover their asses.
How
Apple is
cool would that be? How cool would that be? You have a device that's not much bigger than some of these vapes these days. You know, a little bit bigger around than your thumb,
sure.
about that big, and you just pull it out of your pocket and doop,
That
there's
would
your
be so
screen.
cool. That'd be so cool.
I'm
Company,
done.
these large corporations, people are going to continue to cover their asses regardless. Apple is
Yeah.
and people get all excited about the patent. Apple's just covering their asses. That's
Yeah.
all they're doing. Doesn't mean they have it. It's coming out in 2025. None of that. Is there one? Maybe. I don't fucking know.
And just
My
well, yeah. I
source
mean,
isn't telling me.
they figured something out that might be cool, and so they want to get a patent on it so that somebody else doesn't figure it out and use it first.
Right. That's it. That's it right there. In a nutshell, that's exactly what they're doing. And mostly, and again, they're like Freemo was saying, they're doing this to protect themselves. You know, kind of like what Facebook does. Facebook just recently,
Facebook
they
sucks at it, but yeah,
they suck
they're
at
trying.
everything. But they
Bless
put a
their
clause.
heart.
They put a clause out there in their contracts. You're not allowed to sue them. Not many people know that, but you are not allowed to sue them. It has to go to arbitration every time. Every time. And believe me, one day, and I've alluded to this like Zootopia, no, I have an entire 5 years worth of Facebook news that I put into a folder. It's just one day I'm going to do a Facebook show with Freemo about just all the shit they've done over the years that is just backpedaled, screwed people, not had good security, Cambridge Analytics, just so much shit that they've done.
Do you think once you're a part of the Matrix, you'll even have a chance to arbitrate?
No, not at all. If that's the way this society goes, somebody like Facebook would take control. I know this is way out.
You wouldn't need arbitration. They would just give you what you wanted in your little fantasy metaverse.
Yeah, literally, they will isolate you. Yeah.
But if you woke up, if you became a Neo,
oh please,
could you arbitrate?
You could, but this guy George Hayward's actually doing it now, which is nice.
Yeah.
Because George Hayward used to work at Facebook. And Facebook very adamantly in their contracts say you can't sue, you have to arbitrate so they can stay out of the courts and then none of their business becomes public. But George Hayward, I like this guy because he took another step, knowing that if he filed it, which he did in New York, he filed a lawsuit against Facebook for illegal termination, I believe it was, I think. But knowing it's going to be squashed immediately by the Facebook billion-dollar lawyers. They're just going to be like, yep, the contract says you can't sue. But the cat's out of the bag, the horses out of the barn.
Yep.
Yeah. So he got pinched. So his bitch is negative testing, which I've never been witness to. I don't know if you have in your business, but I can't see how this is viable in any way. It allows tech companies to run down your battery of your phone in the name of testing.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
I mean, it is, but at the same time, if you didn't, I guarantee you, it's in the EULA. It's part of that whole check here if you want to send anonymous usage data.
Oh, sure.
It's all in there.
Completely in the EULA. But if
you've agreed to it, whether you understood what it was or not, you've agreed to it. So the only thing I can tell you is don't use Facebook.
Right. We've said that on the show numerous times.
Hey, have I told you how much battery life I get out of this non-Facebook connected device?
2 days.
Yeah, people get connected.
Yeah, I'm not on social media yet. This thing will last me literally 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because I'm not on social media. It's just amazing. So again, negative testing allows companies to run down batteries in the name of testing for their apps. It shows how the apps run on low power. So it could be like how fast a picture loads, or how long it takes to download a link, things like that. How long it takes to click on the browser. Any one of these is a bad idea. It's a bad idea. When Mr. Hayward brought this to the powers that be in Facebook to test phones throughout the country, it was using the Facebook Messenger app. He refused. He stated that doing this would put 1.3 billion users at risk. And he's not wrong. Like if you have low power mode, there's some things that don't work on some phones. If you're on low power mode and I'm trying to make a phone call to 911 and I'm put on fucking hold, and my battery's about to die? Like seriously?
Yeah, well, I mean, look at what happened in Turkey with the earthquakes and all the people
my
over there.
gosh,
I mean, how
yes.
many of those people's batteries didn't have the charge it should have because of this negative testing?
Correct. And
I mean, it has real world implications.
and like Fremont, I just deconstructed for you all was that when you're on social media, what are you going to do? I'm in the middle of a earthquake. Telling friends and family I'm okay. That's social media, but that's multiplied by millions of people, or let's say tens of thousands of people. That will drain their battery. Fremont, I will also tell you, low Wi-Fi drains battery quicker. Low connectivity to cellular drains battery quicker. Why? Because it's trying to use more power to connect to that cell site to keep your connection clear.
Yeah.
So when you have an infrastructure that's been
Leaving
decimated,
your Bluetooth on all the time.
yep, leaving
Near field communication for your tap for
NFCs,
payments.
yep, all of that adds. Now, I think and I've gone on debates for this for hours. I feel Apple has nailed the battery consumption. I have NFC, I have Bluetooth, I have Wi-Fi on all the time, cellular on all the time, and I can still get 3 days out of this. Say
Well,
what
that's
you
just
want.
because nobody ever calls you.
Fuck you. Send us email. I get work texts all the time, you dick. You're such a douchebag.
Douchebag.
I hate you so much. But
Just
back to
speak
what
your
I was
truth,
saying.
man.
Shut
Here, I'll
up.
make you feel better.
Did you just send me a text? Yeah, you did. Oh, you're a dick. You're calling me. Fuck you. You're getting voicemail. Oh, that's great. So anyway, what I was saying was that if you have all of these functions on, I think Apple does a good job, and I can still get a lot. But again, I'm not on social media. That's gonna tell you something, people. This guy was given a document entitled "How to Run Thoughtful Negative Tests." It's clearly fucking illegal.
Yeah.
Like, clearly, you're telling me that you can't do this shit as a Fortune 500 company. You can't do this shit in your R&D department. You can't test, you can't afford to buy a 6, 6S, 7, 7S, all the 10s, all the 12s, all the 13s, all the 14s, all the S20s, S21s, S23s, notes. You can't afford to buy these fucking phones, one of each one of these phones, and test them in your R&D department and see how it reacts. You're full of shit. Plain and simply, full of shit.
Bullshit.
It's pretty sad. The case will be thrown out because the horses are out of the barn. But the good thing is that he did this in basically a point to point it out to everybody. Oh, I swear to God, if this is you. I don't even know what that is. I can't take that right now.
What's the number?
Oh, I swear to God, if it was you.
Is it 423?
I don't know. Let me look. Yes, it is.
We'll answer it. How many people do you know from 423? Yeah.
Well, it's gone now.
We'll
Too
call it
bad.
back.
I'm not calling it back.
Well, if they call again, answer it.
Oh, my God. You do know we're live, right?
Yeah.
Hello? What am I listening
Guys,
to?
say hello.
Ah, you're great, kid. You're awesome, little dude. Yeah, hello. Oh, this is enjoyable.
Now give him the red button.
I hate you so much. The fact that I get a crank call from your grandson.
Did he hang up after I told him to give you the red button?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he knows what the red button is.
All right, so this guy was given a special document how to run thoughtful negative tests. Clearly illegal. It's going to be thrown out, but Facebook, when contacted, wasn't responding at all to how it was. At
Well, of course
all.
not. They're not going to say
Ah,
anything. They won't say anything. They'll send some people to Congress once it gets to that level,
sure.
and they'll act like they don't know what's going on, and that's not my area, and blah blah blah. Same thing that they always do, and then they may pay a fine, and then they'll move on.
Yeah, they don't care.
And as long as 3 billion people on the planet are using Facebook, it'll never change.
It's going to be the boomers at this point because everybody else that's smartened up is not using Facebook. They're not. They're using Twitter or Mastodon or TikTok or Instagram, which Instagram technically, people, is Facebook.
Is Facebook, but substitute something in for the word Facebook. Any of these
Dude,
tech giants.
He lost in
The
transforming
only
to
one
Meta.
the only one that's changed is Twitter, and we all know why that changed.
Right, and I'm still on Twitter.
And Twitter may or may not survive.
Don't care.
Yeah,
But
I don't either.
the switch from Facebook to Meta, they lost billions of dollars, man.
Yeah.
Billions of dollars. It's so sad. You got any other news that you heard of this week?
No, but I'm thinking about seeing if I can become an honorary member of the Bottle Cap Brigade.
It sounds cool, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
ham radio,
I'm not gonna lie.
balloons.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
I'm
lie.
gonna go ahead and tell you right now, if they won't let me in with armed balloons, if I can't defend my balloon, I don't want in.
Wouldn't that be great if there was like just Noah snapped one day? It was like, look, fuckers, we're trying to tell you what the weather's like. And you guys keep doing this, and this is for aviation, this is for a lot of things. And we're a national, government organized company or subsidiary or whatever you want to call it. And you guys are literally shooting our shit down. You know what? We're going to arm our shit. We have funding. Yeah. How much do you think these fucking Pico balloons cost? Not that much. I get extra money.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a couple of rockets on this shit. Get some angry old Marine Navy SEAL to sit in the balloon cockpit. Like, put a cockpit on there. Have one of those guys on there with a howitzer. Or, I don't know.
F-22 Raptors never been shot down in a dogfight. Unfortunately, they're now being taken out of the sky by the Bottle Cap Brigade balloons. Swarm.
That would be great. That would be so fucking funny to hear the audio. Not that I want anybody to die. We're not condoning that. Yeah. But it would be fucking funny if a Raptor pilot was like, they're shooting back.
It's a balloon. I didn't know they could do that.
Well, I was coming up here. I was going to hit it with like 3 bullets from my machine gun.
Where's this balloon located? It's over Tennessee. Okay, that explains
it. That's awesome. All right, let's get into this week's music.
Let's do it.
Stopped doing a bunch of other stuff. So this week's music, I found something interesting. And it's called Screaming Females. 3-person band. Lead singer's lead guitarist or bassist is a female, but the other 2 are male. Screaming Females. This song's called Brass Bell. I stumbled across this and I kind of like it. I think it's pretty good. Not too long of a song, but I think it's pretty good. And we're going to catch you on the other side for some really exciting news, I feel, from our stick style side.
Let's do it.
All right. Here's Screaming Females.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Screamy Females. What do you think, Free?
I don't know if you saw this guy, but he
Yeah.
was rocking, and after it
Yeah.
was over, he clapped and said, "Yay!"
Yeah,
Do you like
it's a
that
good.
song, Makai?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah,
All
it's a
right,
good
well,
song.
That song is grandson approved.
It's good to find the song because we have trouble finding them sometimes about good songs for because we have a certain Frimo and I have a certain thing that we want to do, and it's not going to be pop and just ridiculous bullshit, but hip hop and rock or metal we love, and that I think was a good choice personally. But
Yes, it was.
so, are you? I know you're on. Yeah, buddy. I know you're on grandkid duty. Are you drinking at all today?
Not at the moment.
But soon.
We'll see. Hopefully.
I am rocking the Modelo Negro today. I might venture into trying something different, but every time I do, it's always some sort of beer that has some citrus aftertaste,
Yeah.
and I don't want that. I
You
want a
know.
beer.
Have you ever had
What? Dead air.
I'm trying to think now you probably wouldn't be able to get it up there. It's called Yeehaw.
No. Oh, no.
Yeehaw.
That sounds like a good beer. And I also have the traditional BGFG Jack Daniels Tennessee Honey in memory of Fremo. Oh, it's a little dirty. Let me get that cleaned up. My Flasky. Love this thing. So when you go to Tennessee, you're doing two things. You're eating barbecue. No, three things. You're eating barbecue, listening to good music, and you're drinking some serious shit. I don't care whether it's beer or whiskey or, oh my God, the moonshine. You're drinking some serious shit. You're gonna feel good in the South. You're not gonna have a problem. The heat's not gonna bother you as much as you may think. It's still gonna be hot though. Because like
That's
when
why
we were,
you drink. That's why you drink the moonshine. If your insides are hotter than the air, you're all good.
but we didn't before we went up to the mountain, and the mountain was fucking hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was hot up there.
So those that
Till we got
haven't,
till we went inside and down 28 floors into the heart of the mountain, and then it wasn't hot at all.
no, it wasn't hot at all. It was just terrifying because I was sweating like a stuck pig. I was, yeah, underground. But thank you, Fremo, again. We'll say it on the air. Thank you for curing me of one of my natural fears. I don't know if it cured me, but it definitely did a lot.
Well, at least now you can watch Deliverance all the way through.
I remember being in the mountain. Fremo just looked at me and twice. He looked at me once and then looked at me again and went, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm not good with this. Buried alive is one of my fears.
I think I said something along the lines of, well, let me know because I ain't carrying you all the way back out.
Yeah, and you say we could turn around now. Yeah. I'm like, no, because I'm a tough guy. I'm like, no, we got this. Man, we sprinted through that tour. Just sprinted. All right, let's get into this week's Six Talks. I have some great news, actually.
Be right back.
Gaming.
Don't wait on me.
Oh, I do kind of wish Fremo was here because he would be bitching at me nonstop. PlayStation VR2 is here, people. It is. And actually I have it right here. Right there. No, that's a bad angle. There we go. There's a better angle. There you go. That is the PlayStation 2 PlayStation 5 VR2. Got that in the mail. We're gonna play that after the show. We're gonna start up Six Style and do a review on it. Maybe not right away, but I can guarantee you I'm going to be opening that box and doing an unboxing. Horizon Call of the Mountain is in that bundle itself, which is great. It's supposed to be, and again, I implore people that if you're going to do something with a new technology, it's always wise to get whatever the default is. So the example I would give would be like when Bluetooth first came out, and everyone's talking about Bluetooth connection. I researched and found out that most of the engineers at Apple at the time, because I was using Apple mainly, that was my go-to daily driver, and Apple was using a lot of the Apple execs or development people in the Bluetooth area had Sony Ericsson phones. So I bought a Sony Ericsson phone, and guess what? It worked flawlessly. Where other companies might have used a different chipset, so that would cause like interference and things like that. But my Sony Ericsson worked great. So I got the bundle of Horizon Call of the Mountain because I wanted to see what it was truly going to be like. Now, there's other games that I want to play. But Call of the Mountain is the first party exclusive that they're offering in the bundle. But there's more I'm looking forward to. Well, some. Gran Turismo 7 is definitely one that I'll be playing. So the idea of having a racing game, I can guarantee you right now, my wife is not going to be happy about this, but I'm definitely going to be buying the steering wheel and shifter. I can guarantee that because I love racing games, and Fremo does as well. And the fact that I can do it in VR is going to be great because I can look left and right, I can see if there's people next to me, whatever it is. It's just great. Altair Breaker is a sword fighting game. Looking forward to that because I have Aido training, so I'm skilled at the sword a little bit, and I'm curious to see how that's going to work. Gravedigger 2 is an exploring ancient sites, which, as you know from the show, we love me some ancient aliens. And I'm looking forward to that. Creed Rise to Glory is a boxing game, again, being of high rank in martial arts, then a boxing game for me is definitely something I want to look forward to. Fremo's about to come back on. I want to get his take on this. So as soon as he comes back on, I'll announce it again. So hang on a second. There you are. There you are, buddy. So
Did
what
I
I
miss
was
the Sony segment?
Don't you wish? Don't you wish?
Oh, you didn't finish covering the VR2 launch games yet?
No. So I have one here. We have one here. For
What? Oh, hold on. I'll be right back. Little monkey boy
Yeah,
is
whatever.
not done with me.
free.
Okay, I like
Get
it.
the VR2. Yep. Tried it after the show. Unboxing at the very least. But I was just talking about how it's always good when you have a new technology to use whatever the factory says is something they tested it with, because that's going to be your best experience. Even when you're on PlayStation or Xbox, play there. Like Halo is going to have the best, Gears of War is going to have the best versions of whatever the Xbox has to offer. In PlayStation terms, you're going to be looking at like God of War or their internal games, demo games. That are going to be the best course of action for you if you want to see what the system is truly capable of. Now, one of the things that disappointed me over the years, especially with the PlayStation, is the lack of use of other developers in using things like haptic feedback or the microphone or the speaker on the controller. It's just sad that they don't do that. With the Xbox, it's more of, well, how about you designate flappy paddles on the back for those that have it? This is what that button does. So I don't have to go in there and remap everything. In the PlayStation version, you have Horizon Call of Mountain is in the bundle. So that's going to be the best course of action because it's a first-party exclusive. And I'm looking forward to playing that. But there's more that's going on there. Like I was telling the people just now, Free. Gran Turismo 7 in VR. I wish Forza... I was just talking to my son about this morning. If Forza Motorsport, the next version, which is what, 8 or 9, if they had VR for Xbox, and they don't have any intention to, as far as anybody knows. I'm pretty sure, like we were talking about earlier in the show, I'm pretty sure they're going to see what the VR2 does for PlayStation. But if they had, oh my gosh, if they had a VR for Forza Motorsport, you're not going to see Fremo and I playing much other things. It's just, it's a
Well, and the thing that'll do, it's going to weed out all your wannabe drivers.
Oh yeah,
that
100%.
only use that only use the behind third person view of the car.
Yep. Yeah. Going to weed all those guys out. But there's other games that are on the horizon, or not on the horizon, but are downloadable when I boot this thing up. Altair Breaker is one. It's a sword fighting game. And as I was telling everybody, I'm trained in Aido, so I'm curious to see how accurate that's going to be. Gravedigger 2, exploring ancient sites. That's just interesting. We're Fremore and I are both fans of like ancient alien theories and archaeology and stuff, because it's our fucking history. Like, you can't, when you dig up Göbekli Tepe and carbon date it, and it's 10,000 years before the pyramids were built, you can't dispute that. You can say whatever you fucking want. You can't dispute that. You can debate who made it, but you can't dispute the fact of how old it is. So when it comes to something like exploring ancient sites, I'm totally what?
Resident Evil on VR?
Not playing it.
Oh, come on.
Dude, I almost shit my pants with the Resident Evil on the PlayStation when the dog jumped out of the window in the hallway. I almost shit myself. And I was a kid.
Are you
Now I'm
kidding me?
older.
That would be freaking Twitch gold mine.
I'm going to have a fucking heart attack. Yeah, it
Set
might
up a
be.
couple cameras.
Yeah, it might be.
I'll
Watching
do
me,
it.
watching
I'll
me in
come
a
up there for-
fetal.
I'll come up there
Dude,
for a weekend.
I
run
will
through it.
absolutely buy that game if you wanted to run through it here in the studio. Because I'll be curled up in a ball in the back of the studio in fetal position, begging for my mom with that shit. I'm not good with that stuff. Another one is Creed, Rise to Glory, which is a boxing game. I always like those type of games because I want to see how accurate they are because I can box. I'm trained, high level ranking in martial arts.
Hopefully, I'll get Primo Slapnut on the VR soon. See how you do it that one.
That'd be great. If we can get it to go gold, that'd be wonderful. Another game is Drums Rock, which is it's an offshoot of Guitar Hero, no doubt. But again, being in VR, I want to see how it handles the timing and everything else. Because again, as a musician that's played on stage, I know what the beat is like. A friend of mine, coworker, I should say, is basically a studio musician. They went to school for musical theory. They're phenomenal. And him and I always talk about different musical genres, songs for the show, different people in music and how things progress and how good songs are and why they're good. And him and I both agreed that when we play these rhythm games, Hi-Fi, that new game that I was talking about on Xbox a couple of weeks ago, as well as Guitar Hero. What? You're holding up your hand. What?
Job Simulator and Vacation Simulator.
Yeah. I don't
You
understand.
own the originals, you'll get the updated versions for free.
Which still look like shit. My kids love Job Simulator, and I don't know why. I keep telling them, right?
They don't
I'm like,
know. They don't know better.
No, they don't. Because I keep telling them, I'm like, when you get a job, it is like this in some days, and you're going to fucking hate it. Regardless, one of my youngest was like, but they're paying me. I'm like, you're not going to care.
Yeah. I guess maybe I shouldn't share this because people might think I'm evil. But one of my I don't know what you want to call it, little joys in life.
Yeah.
It's being able to look at some of these Gen Zers when they've hit that point where they realize adulthood isn't what they think it is. And you just get to look at them and say, welcome to the real world.
Yeah, right. Your next big event is retirement, fucker.
Yeah. And that's 40 years away.
You're going to be grinding until then.
You're lucky, it's 40 years away.
Right.
If they don't keep moving the retirement age up and up and up and up.
Correct. So there's a lot of
save Social Security for another 3 years.
So my boy and I at work, my guy and I at work, we're talking about how the rhythm games as musicians aren't accurate. I've used Guitar Hero on basic all the way up to hard. And it's like, yeah, hard is close to the actual. And the funny thing was, like, somebody came up to us, a third person, and was like, what are you guys talking about? We explained it to him. And I looked at him, I said, look, you don't understand. See, it's a time. It's not necessarily a timing thing. It's a rhythm and beat thing. So if I'm playing bass on Rock Hero or Guitar Hero, rather, I've played the song live. Like, I know where the beats are. I know where the strings are. I know what chords they are. He plays drums. He knows the chord progression. He knows if he's coming into the next change as controlling it, leading it. He knows these things, and these games are not accurate. They're just not.
No.
For whatever reason. But I'm interested to see how this is going to go. I'm going to be staying away from a couple, though, Frey.
Yeah?
Yeah, oh yeah. Resident Evil, I'm going to be staying away from. Not because it's a bad game. I love the game, and I appreciate the game. I'm not into horror games anymore. And Resident Evil scared the snot out of me. It's not even jump scares. It's just pure, this is fucking scary. And there's other games that are coming out for the PlayStation VR2, as well as PlayStation and Xbox, that are sheer horror games, I'm not into that. And you're not going to see those reviews here unless somebody pays me to do it, and then I'll do it. But outside of that, and I'm telling you right now, if you want to pay me to do it, I'll have Fremo on a call right on the side of me, not even playing, and he will laugh his ass off because he knows me so well, and I will literally be afraid. Like, I'm a big guy, and I'm a tough guy, but I can't do horror games. Like, I don't know what it is. I can't do horror games. Another game that I can't do, excuse me, the NFL Pro Era game. I can't do that. You know why, Free? Because people like you and I have actually fucking played football.
Yeah, I don't see how that translates to VR. I really don't.
So if I see a guy coming at me on my 30, right? And I know he's carrying the ball, yeah, I'm bumping off my player and I'm tackling him, which means I'm going to destroy that computer. I'm going to destroy that thing in the back. Like,
Yeah.
This is not a good idea. If I played a basketball game on VR, my head touches the ceiling here. I don't have a high ceiling in my studio, but I'm going to jump because it's just a natural reaction. I fade and shoot, and I'm going to hit my head. Like, I'm not going to play these games. Anything that has me up in the air.
There'd be no point in me playing in a room because the sheetrock would have to be replaced before it was over.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, but anyway.
Well, I'm looking forward to letting everybody know about the VR experience. I really am.
Yeah, I'd like to hear.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to unbox it after we play whatever we play before you head out for the afternoon. But I'm going to do that afterwards, do the unboxing and stuff, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. I can tell you this: I'm not going to go to GameStop and buy any games for this. That's for shit sure.
Places.
Huh?
Puzzling Places, a 3D jigsaw puzzle game. Really, dude? Just sit down at the freaking table and do a puzzle.
Yeah. There's some things that don't need to be VR. There's so many things that don't need to be VR.
But anyway.
Tell me about your experiences at GameStop. Have you gone? I know you have one in your area. Everybody does.
I mean, the last time I actually went to GameStop was 10 years ago.
Really? You ever just wandered in?
No. Because I found a little independent mom and pop that's just as close as a GameStop, and anytime I've wanted something, I've gone there.
Interesting. So in the past 10 years, they've acquired a couple of different companies. One of the things they have there a lot is collectibles. So the wife and I will go over there, and you know how I am about collectibles. Like, shit, you see it behind me now. So we'll go there to get collectibles, but like trading in a game is fucking pointless. You're gonna get $5 for a game. You can literally, I have a GameStop about 7 minutes from my house. I can buy a game for $60, drive home, put it in. God, we can start naming games. Play a game that absolutely sucks, that we fail it on 6 dial as a do not buy, do not rent. And I can bring it back and it will get $20.
Yeah.
Like, the depreciation in a half an hour is ridiculous. The company's burned it to the ground, Free. And it pisses me off. Taylor Newbert finally had enough.
That makes you wonder, I mean,
what?
Whatever happened to GameFly in light of all this?
Oh, God. Because nobody wants to buy discs anymore. They couldn't sustain it. People were literally creating accounts. From what I read, and I didn't even put it on the show because it was so obvious for us.
Yeah.
For the people that listen to our show, it's so obvious. People toward the end of GameFly, it was very much evident that people were getting games and just keeping them. Just keeping them. What are you going to do? You're going to come to fucking East Bumfuck, Maryland and sue me and get $60 out of me? What are you going to bounce it up to with legal fees? $1,000? By the time the court case is done, nobody's going to care. You know, and if you even bother with that, but And again, $1,000 is $1,000, but when you have 50,000 people doing that, ordering a game and keeping it, especially new releases. GameFly at one time was doing new releases.
Yeah.
You had 7 days to return it. I'm not returning it in 7 days. What's my penalty? Oh, we're going to charge you an extra $2. Okay. That credit card is eventually going to expire. So good luck. And they're going to, on the books, they're looking at it like, okay, we got our money back for the game that we purchased. That's $60, or now it's $70. But GameFly isn't even remotely what the GameStop has turned into. You got people that are working there, like Taylor Nurbert, who's working there 10 hours a day by herself for $15 an hour because they have no other staff on board. You're working 10 hours that day. When she was a manager, when she was a manager, she was working 2 stores at once for $20 an hour. That is not enough to be the manager of 2 stores.
No, it's not.
I'm the supervisor of 1 store, and I oversee a couple of other stores just because. And they quickly squashed that because they felt I had too much power. Obviously. They squashed that. I wasn't going to ask for more money. It was just, I was like, look, what are you doing? Like, I call over there. Like you do at other sites. Like, what the fuck are you doing? That's not the way we're supposed to do it. Straighten up your shit. So this girl was working at multiple stores as a manager. She took a downgrade and went back to just being a store employee at $15 an hour from the 20. And one day she just literally locked the doors. And you can see in the YouTube video that she put a sign on the door: GameStop overworks and underpays. They don't care about employees. I quit. I think that's brilliant. And that's happening all around the country at these stores. They've recently taken away bonuses as well as incentives for people. She just couldn't handle it anymore. And on one Saturday in the month, she was scheduled to work from 10 to 9 p.m. 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. by herself. Who the fuck wants to do that? I mean, I've had call-outs at my job where I'm working by myself for like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 hours. And it sucks. Working a 9-hour shift? No.
Yeah.
No, man. She was actually reading the story while she was on shift. She was reading the story of the manager that mentored her that got fired from the store robbery, which we reported on last week or the week before.
Yeah.
She even said the company's in shambles. Pre-orders are missing, pay cuts, low stock, and apparently a slew of secret shoppers, because that's what corporate thinks is a good idea. So you have secret shoppers calling or coming in and trying to get us a good sales pitch. Well, when I'm 4 deep, you're not getting my best sales pitch.
Yeah.
Even at my job now.
Yeah.
If there's, yeah.
You're going to get did you find everything you were looking for? Great. Here's your total. How are you paying?
Yeah. Have you thought about this plan? No, I just can't afford that right now. Okay. I really don't have time. And I think CEOs need to understand that. They're like, oh, you have to have the conversation with everybody. We don't have the time. You don't realize, because you don't work in that level, that when we ask, and I can tell this from a retail point of view, when we sit there and have that conversation, that's a good 4 minutes. Every minute counts in retail. So that's 4 minutes of having this conversation with that person. In those 4 minutes, think about waiting. Just start your stopwatch next time you're at the bank or anywhere else that you're in the line or in a queue. Just hit your timer button. 4 minutes. That person is holding a desktop computer in their arms, waiting there for 4 minutes, is pissed because I was just talking to this person. They're pissed. So they're not going to be apt to buy. So I need to move that line forward, which creates a good survey, which is what you care about. But at the same time, I'm not selling the service plan that you want me to sell. It's a double-edged sword. You can't have both. Oh, well, a good person could. Okay, hire them.
Then hire them. Yeah. You ain't gonna get somebody better than what I'm doing for what you're paying. That's for
I've
sure.
told my boss that. I've been doing this. Fremo and I, people have been doing this for 30 fucking years. We know technology. We know what we're doing. If you ask Fremo to build the back end of your network, he's going to do it. If you ask me to sell a service plan and do troubleshooting right there, I'm your guy. That's what we do. You're not going to tell us any different. So when you sit there and go, you need to think differently. How? You want to give me a better pitch? You want to give me a something extra on the service plan to sell? Great. In Fremo's case, to speak for you gently, if you want to give me a new technology and you want me to roll it out, give me why. Give me the selling points for that technology and I'll do it. I'll back up on it. If you want to backpedal on shit for either one of us in our jobs, you want to backpedal? No, I can't get behind that, man. You can't sit there and tell me to do this and not give me any sort of kudos or not give me any leeway on anything.
Or give me the resources necessary.
Right. And GameStop is in fucking shambles.
You want me to, in your case, you want me to run through a 3-minute sales pitch with every person I see, then I need more people behind the counter.
Correct.
Period.
And in your case, you want me to roll out this new update on all these laptops and desktops, then I'm going to need more resources to have these people go out and either remotely or physically go out to these sites and do the upgrades. Yeah, we would work well together if we ever started a business. We'd fucking kill it.
I don't know. Would we work?
There'd be a whole lot of gaming going on. Excuse me, hold on 1 second. I'm almost done with this level.
I think somebody came in. Yeah, we're on level 23. It'll be about an hour.
We're almost done with Horde. Our third person is going to get.
Leave it on the counter and fill out the sheet.
Oh my God, I would totally do that. I could create a document that would be exactly what we need to know. We'll fix that shit. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Literally, you don't have to do anything. Just drop that shit off. I'm not giving you a computer until you give me the money, but I'll fix it.
Yeah. We'll contact you as soon as it's done.
So the company,
we'd still get the crap fixed and back to the customer faster than anybody else.
100%. I have no doubt. So like I said, they have a low stock. Apparently a slew of secret shoppers are going in there. There's just no strategy to that company anymore at all in any way.
Nah.
And really,
in reality, it's a dead industry.
How could there be any movement in that company if you're on the cusp of pure digital?
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean?
Saying. It's a dead industry.
Like both companies.
It's Blockbuster.
Yeah.
It served its purpose, but its purpose is no longer used.
Yeah. Both companies, Xbox and PlayStation, which are their biggest proponents, both of those are selling digital consoles now. Freeman and I will sit here and tell you that the digital way to go on a download of a game is the way to go. Physical copies are great, but they're kind of dead. I can download a digital copy and download it on multiple devices, where the physical copy, I got to bring it in to each one of the devices. It's actually a pain in the ass. So digital's the way to go. And not to be outdone, Microsoft, I don't know if you heard about this, Frey. Like Nvidia, I have a Nvidia card upstairs, the 2080 Ti, and I just today made a purchase for a 4090, which, when I talked before the show, it's a crapshoot whether it's going to be worth it or not. But Nvidia makes great video gaming cards, period. I love my AMD rig here at the studio. My Radeon Red Devil 6800 XT is phenomenal. It does the job. But at the same time, Nvidia is the market holder. Nvidia has the biggest of the market. And one of their things, I mean, they're really good for gamers. It just does. I love my 6800, but playing a game here versus playing a game on the 2080 Ti, which is what, 3 years old, Free?
Yeah, roughly 3 or 4.
It's still top notch. It beats my Radeon 6800. It does. I'm sorry, but you can do all the little tweaks you want in real world. It's equivalent, if not lagging a little bit, my 68. It just is. The Nvidia stuff runs great. They have this thing called GeForce Now. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Cloud-based streaming. You pay $20 a month, and you get a virtual rig with like a 3080. You can run an 8-hour session on it. And we've talked about it on the show before. And now they just upgraded it. That 8-hour session with a 3080 can run at 120 frames. That is, if you want to bitch and moan and send us hate mail about how you should have a fucking 240, screw you. You go spend $8,000 on your rig and you play all the games you want at 240. I don't give a shit. And another, $8,000 on a rig and then another 1,500 on your monitor. I'm still
going to beat you.
I'm still going to whoop your ass, man. Go to Nürburgring. Bet. Mazda Laguna Seca, Magello, Fremont are going to own you. It's just that simple. And if Fortnite, don't even think that we're not going to end up in the top 10. Call of Duty, I don't play, so I can't even speak on that. But again, NVIDIA GeForce is a subscription service, and you get a virtual rig with a 3080. You can do up to an 8-hour session with 120 frames. Great. You buy the games from their game store, and now they did a press conference. Microsoft did a press conference, and I can't even believe it. They did it from Brussels. No idea why they did a conference from Brussels, but they did. And they announced free. Get this.
Is that where Nvidia's based out of, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I didn't either, but...
Well, whatever reason why they were there. They announced they're doing a 10-year deal to provide Xbox PC games on GeForce Now.
Yeah.
That's huge. Huge. I would dare say that this is bigger than the Microsoft Activision acquisition. Because
that's a big
10 years.
Well, yeah. And here's one quote. We just brought Call of Duty to 150 million new devices.
Yeah. And I can tell you, and as much as Fremo and I debate about PC, console, and Mac is great. They don't do gaming. There's nothing developed really for gaming. There's a couple of AAA titles, but not many. But the cloud gaming, that's a different story entirely. The cloud gaming is something based on what you're going to. And the fact that Nvidia is doing this where you can have a 3080 rig with 120 frames and you can connect it through your Mac, which has an M1 or an M2 chipset, which we've talked about on the show before, is phenomenal for what they do. They're not a gaming PC, but you're not using their graphics cards or gaming technology for this. You're using the streaming and the processing, which is where Mac will excel. At the same time, you could do this shit on your fucking TV.
Yeah.
And get 120 frames. You just need a solid connection. So you might have to hardwire your TV in, which I'm good. If I want to have a gaming session with Fremo one night on my fucking 80-inch TV, I will run a wire across my living room.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about the fact that the day before they announced this with GeForce, they also announced a 10-year deal with Nintendo?
Oh, yeah. Dude, what the fuck? Like, I did not see that coming.
Yeah. And Microsoft also offered the deal to Sony, and Sony said, nope, no thank you.
Yeah, I don't understand why Sony did that. I really don't. What do they have in the pipeline? Why?
It's admitting defeat.
No.
We need your games, Microsoft. We'll take that deal.
Well, what's their alternative? What do you have an alternative for Call of Duty on the PlayStation platform?
They don't. That's what I'm saying. They'd have to admit defeat. They can't do it.
Yeah, but that was good before. That was good before because Nintendo was in their same in the PlayStation Playpen, where
Where's Sony
Nintendo
based
was
out of?
Wait a minute, let me finish. But Nintendo was like, we don't need your Call of Duty because we're geared toward kids. We have a bunch of exclusives that are great to us. Sony said the same thing. We have a bunch of exclusives that don't matter to Call of Duty. But the fact that Nintendo now jumped on the Call of Duty bandwagon from Microsoft, and the fact that PlayStation is saying no, like, please justify that with me free.
It's a point of pride.
No.
Where
I
is
don't know.
Sony based out of?
Japan.
You cannot admit defeat.
Okay.
Cannot bring shame and dishonor.
Yeah, I know that lifestyle.
Okay.
But this is business. Business is business in Japan.
It is, but at the same time, yeah,
How?
our console's great. It's better, but we need your games to stay afloat.
No, they're not. I don't think they're saying that. I don't think they're saying that we need your business to stay afloat. I think they're more saying
that's what I'm saying. That would be what they're thinking. It's going to look like we have to have Microsoft's games for our console to be viable.
Yeah, okay. I can see that. I don't know though. That's a tough pill to swallow because they really don't. They have God of War, Gran Turismo.
Business is business, but you also know
They are
that
prideful.
bragging rights.
They are.
You and I will both go down in a blaze of glory just to reserve bragging rights.
I think that
you may beat me, but I will not admit defeat.
But I think this is I think you're not looking at the big picture. I think that selling to Call of Duty to Nintendo for whatever price it was is private right now, but whatever price it was to solidify the fact that Microsoft is willing to share technology and allow the Activision deal to go through. That's a $69 billion deal. You have to show face because the FTC is still
me,
not
I get
allowing
it. Microsoft's doing everything they can
to
get this Activision deal to go through.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll share it with
100%.
whoever y'all say we have to. We offered it. They turned it down. You can't hold that against us.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that's a good point. We offered it to everybody. They don't want it. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. But it still shows the FTC that they're playing nice with everybody in the sandbox.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
We tried to make a deal with Sony. They turned us down.
Nintendo took us. Like Nintendo's got like kid games.
Yeah. So it looks good for Microsoft, but there's no telling what was in that agreement.
Right. So finally this week,
like
one of the
we
things,
give you Call of Duty, you give us God of War.
Oh my God. Oh, well, see, now let's get into that a little bit. So if that was to happen, let's just pretend that was to happen. Call of Duty gets swapped for God of War. What does that contract look like for both of the companies? Because Microsoft has deals with now Nvidia as well as the PC gaming market. No, Sony rather, is notorious for not sharing. You want to play God of War? You come over to PlayStation. Or you get PlayStation Now. One or the other.
Yeah.
Having it shared, what would that deal look like? Would Microsoft be allowed? Would Microsoft be allowed with the licensing? Because they would have the license, right?
I got his wheels turning.
Yeah, you did. So would Microsoft have the license to utilize it in its library? Let's use that with quotes. And then that library is sold and or shared to Nvidia, Steam, LG,
Nintendo.
Sony, Nintendo. Oh, that is fucking interesting. Oh, that is interesting. Wow, you'd really have to look that over. Shit.
And how does Microsoft get to use Gods of War?
Yeah.
It's gonna have to be written.
Console based. They have to be. The only way they can do that
is
deal.
Is it only stream based? Is it we'll offer you God of War through Nvidia's GeForce now?
No, that would be a PlayStation.
You can play it through GeForce Now.
No.
On your Microsoft console. That's what I'm saying though. How does that deal work?
Well, you have Microsoft, so Microsoft's kind of kludgy at this point. You can do the streaming from your console if you're in the same network. You can do cloud gaming, or you can do PC gaming. There's 3 different avenues that you
Right.
can use. So, like you said, what would they? Holy shit! What would they license it for? I would dare say that Sony would say it's only console based.
I wouldn't do console based. I would let them run it on the PC. I wouldn't let them run it on their proprietary hardware.
It's a good point too.
What happens if God of War looks way better, plays way better on Xbox?
I doubt it, but I see your point. It's the same hardware. It really is. We've talked about that
Essentially,
before. Yeah.
but you're talking
Fuck,
about
what do you
having
do?
you're talking about having to recode the whole game for another console. a
No, would you
competitor.
though? 'Cause it's the same. It's the same. No, I don't think so. Because it's not proprietary anymore. It's not one's on ARM and one's on Intel. It's not like that anymore. It's both are on AMD. So there wouldn't be a whole lot of recoding, but I think that I think the real question now is the licensing.
So are you
and
not going to have? Are you not going to have
no.
achievements?
I get you. I no, you would. Achievements are non-sequential. What the question is not if I can play it on the console. The question is, how does the license work? And Nvidia, I think, because Nvidia is coming on strong. How is the business with Nvidia work? Who gets that money? Does Microsoft get that money and then pay out for the license to PlayStation? Or does PlayStation literally just go, I'm done. I'm going to create all my games and I'm going to submit some games over to Gran Turismo, God of War. What else? Oh my God. It escapes me
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
about it.
No, there's more. There's what the hell is the Tom Holland movie that was a game?
Uncharted.
Shit. Uncharted. There's and probably like
It
3
took you
other.
that long to come up with 3 games for Sony, and I had to give you one of them.
Oh, that's a fucking good point right there. I can't argue that point at all in any way. All right. So holy shit, that's really far.
Anyway, folks, something to think about.
Yeah. And that's a deep thought right there. So, last up this week is a game about raining in hell. Just because that sort of game, like the thing that got me originally was Dante's Inferno on the Xbox. Dante's Inferno was a great game. Dealt with Dante's Inferno, dealt with the Knights Templar, which is a whole Subtopia Null thing. But this game is called Solium Infernum. You can find it on Steam.
Infernum.
Sure. You can find it on Steam. It's a real-time strategy game mixed with a civilization feel to it. Like you pick your different characters out of 6. The devil's gone in hell. The devil's gone. They needed a ruler. So you pick one of 8 archfiends, for lack of a better term, to play as, and you politic and fight your way to the top. This feels a lot like a Civ game. A lot. But with the hellscape attached to it.
Yeah.
I put a video in the show notes. There's no release date yet, but I thought it was quite interesting. If you watch the video, it's like, I get it. It's like Civilization, but in hell. Literally. And that's what kind of tweaked me was that it was Civilization in hell.
1 to 6 players, simultaneous, turn-based game.
I don't have a problem with that to you. If it's good.
Each player plays their turn, and then they're all executed at the same time. So I would imagine there's some kind of time limit
I would assume
on
so.
how long you get
Your
X
turn.
number of minutes to
Take your turn.
strategize and make your turn, and then other people are doing the same thing, so you might decide to go left and defend right, and then
Now, Fremore and I on Six Style, and I believe Fatal as well, really gave kudos and like the highest rating to Shadows of Mordor because
Yeah,
of
I
the
did like
Nemesis engine. Because of the Nemesis engine. So there's rumor. I don't have any facts, and I just heard about it, so I had to put it in the show notes. That this game is going to run on a variation, which I don't think is possible, of the Nemesis engine. So, what the Nemesis... Right, see, you're giving the same look I did when I read that. Like, really? So, the Nemesis engine in Shadows of Mordor, and if you haven't played Shadows of Mordor and you like hack and slash, go download that game. It's free fucking everywhere. Go download the game because...
the crazy thing about that engine, though, yes, it is a hack and slash.
No, explain it first. Explain the engine.
That's what I'm about to.
No.
It is a hack and slash, but it's an intelligent hack and slash.
Right.
So if you hit A 14 times, you're going to do that 14 times, regardless of whether something's standing there in front of you or not. So if you're throwing down combinations and you're surrounded by people and you're throwing down combinations, it's going to follow through all of that. And you got to hope that you got your thumbstick pressed in the right direction with the right combinations. So it's a hack and slash, but it's not just to sit there and tap a button until you beat somebody either.
In that game, yes. But the Nemesis engine will actually say, like, say if you have a mini boss, like a group of 7 people that you're fighting, there's one tough guy in the middle.
Yeah.
That guy is going to remember you.
Yeah.
And that guy will escape and try to escape and most likely succeed in escaping. And then when he escapes and gets out, his level raises because he escaped you. And when you meet him again, he remembers you. So
and he knows how you fight.
Yeah, exactly right. So if you, like Fremo said, if you hit the X button 14 times in a hack and slash, it's going to remember that and block them all. It's really a good engine for like true gamers. Like you got to rethink, you got to do combos and shit. So the fact that this game might be doing it, that's pretty stellar.
I just don't understand how in a multiplayer turn-based game, how that... Ooh.
Yes. You see it like I did. Go.
Yeah. So, and you're campaigning. If you can't come at everything the same way every time.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get beat down. Yeah. Okay,
So if you have arrows and you make your subordinates in the back shoot arrows, then you dive in because you know they're going to be weakened. They're going to know that, and they're going to come out with shields next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nemesis engine is really good. People don't really give that enough credit. That Nemesis engine's badass.
Yeah, that was the most frustrating thing about that Shadows of Mordor game. If you didn't kill a boss,
it sucked. And if they climbed the rank,
then trying to find him later, he's not going to be in the same place. Very rarely were they back in the same place. And they never had if they had 3 people with them before, now they got 8.
Yeah.
And if you defeat those 8 and then he gets away and you find him again, now he's got 15, but they're not the same fighters that you were able to dispatch so easily last time. Now he's got archers with him and Yeah.
And then when you go to the menu screen and you see where that guy was at that bottom level that you fought, but he beat you and then he beat you a second time, that dude's on the top tier. Yeah. And you're going to fight him and he's way tougher. It's just, and he knows your tactics and it's really good. All right, enough of that. Let's get into the last segment of the week. Oh, Oh, this weekend, for what it's worth, it's going to make me chuckle and Fremo chuckle. So, we've talked about on the show before about activist groups, and they're good and bad. They have a purpose. I'm not going to say they don't. That's your right in this country to have to be an activist. But let's just face it, people. There's some activist groups that they really don't need to be there, or they're too aggressive. One or the other. Some are just like-minded people, like me and Fremo. We could be an activist group about, I don't know, customer first, or activist groups about generic gaming with Nemesis Engine and racing games that don't make you look at a cartoon. There could be 100 different things for activists. It might be people that just hang around together. That's an activist group if you have the same idea.
Yeah.
Then you have some that just shouldn't exist, Free. Mostly related to the woke culture.
Yeah. There's
Who need,
quite a
they
few
need-
of those, but
they need to pull their collective heads out of their asses. Like they legitimately do. Like the woke culture, like it was fine in 2020 and you had your moment, but it's fucking over, okay? Your idea of canceling people and waking people up is not needed. We don't appreciate it. We don't want it. But there's one group that's spreading misinformation about, of all things, I can't say it with a straight face. Hold on.
you've got to be talking about the citizens for
Oh, hold on.
responsible solar.
Hold on. There's one group that's spreading misinformation about solar power. You know how hard it was to do that in the radio voice? Solar power, people. It's fucking solar power. Like, I cannot, I don't have words to express the fact.
Okay, here's the thing. 20 years ago, solar was not a viable mass answer to energy.
Because we didn't figure it out by then. Go on.
Well, I mean, we had solar panels back then, but they were these massive things.
Inefficient.
They were fairly inefficient.
Right.
But it's come a long way. You can literally now put enough solar panels, unless you live in Oregon or Britain. You can put enough solar panels on your roof to run your house.
Right. So
You're not going to take up any of your yard space. You don't have to have 3 acres of solar panels all daisy chained together.
the wife and I have literally talked about putting solar panels just on the roof, to offset a price of an electric car and have a 220 connection at the side of the house to charge the cars. We've talked about that, and it's a viable solution.
I mean, if you get the reality is, if you get enough direct sunlight every day, or not every day, because you've got a battery bank, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you get enough direct sunlight on a regular basis, you could put solar panels. Like my house actually runs the ridge of the roof runs east-west.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect.
And so I could put solar panels on the south roof all the way down. Yeah, because it'll catch sun all day long.
Just north, south. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
The sun goes east-west.
I know how the
and
sun
we're in
goes,
the northern
right?
hemisphere. So
Oh my God.
the south side of my house gets sun all day long.
Yeah.
From sun up to sundown. And yeah, I put solar panels across the back of that. I probably don't have an electric bill.
Yeah. You won't. And up north here, if you put enough solar panels up, they will actually backfeed into the electric company. You'll have no bill. And you have literally sustained power.
Yeah. And if you produce enough power, you're actually getting money from the power company.
Correct. So this company that Free was talking about, he's right. Citizens for Responsible Solar. And it's a fucking joke.
It's such a shame you can't see what finger I'm holding up.
Founded by Susan Ralston. She's a longtime political activist. And here's the bullshit. And again, this is why me and Fremo bring it to you for the sheeple. Because Susan Ralston is not what you think she is. She owns a consulting firm.
She's a shill for big oil.
Oh my God, she is a huge shill for fossil fuel companies. Like, huge. And the fact that she's getting these groups to undermine political support for solar power is a fucking problem, people. Like, nobody's going to want to go to this place. Let's just say your local municipality wants to put solar power to power, I don't know, police cars. Well, I can tell you right now that if it's going to cost the fossil fuel industry, like anything over like $200,000, they're probably going to send some activists there. So now when you have the activists come there, these are people from this whatever the hell it is, anti-solar bullshit. They're probably going to have green and red hair. They're probably going to have multiple piercings. And I'm not trying to do a stereotype, but literally everybody.
There's a whole subgenre of people, and that's all they do. They get paid to go and by different lobbying groups. They get paid to go protest different things. They don't give a shit about what they're protesting on. They get paid to go show up and hold a sign.
Right. And they're
you literally, if you wanted to look for it in your area, I guarantee you, if you lived in an area that has enough protest on both sides of an argument, you would see some jackhole
100%.
1 week on Group A side, and then the following week, Group B side is paying more, so you see him on the other side holding the sign. I guarantee it.
It's all about undermining public support for solar power, which is Frey. They're saying that. Sorry, have to get my radio voice back on. They're reporting that they're saying that the solar power is unreliable energy.
Here, I'll help with this. It takes up too much land, cutting down too many natural resources, contributing to a faster climate change danger. What else could they possibly come up with?
I don't know, play with my fidget spinner while you do this.
Kids are going blind from the reflection off the solar panels. Because no one taught them in school not to stare at solar panels directly. I mean, who knows what kind of crap they're coming up with?
They're going blind.
Do you like that one? But yeah, they're basically protesting something that needs to happen, something that needs to be advanced, something that needs to have some R&D behind it to make it more efficient, so that we can. The long and short of it, folks, whether you want it or not, electric vehicles are going to become mandatory at some point in our lifetime.
And your combustion, wait a minute. Your combustion engines will become a hobby, which is okay. Go on.
Yeah.
Power grid.
Our power grid, as it stands right now, cannot support everything that's already on it as is, much less transitioning everything to electric vehicles.
Yep.
So, with that being said, there's got to be some progress made to the power grid. We're not going to be building any more coal plants. There aren't really any places to put any more hydroelectric dams. I think nuclear is the way to go, but nobody wants to build more nuclear.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the best bang for your buck with some risk. I get that, and there is the byproduct, but they are making in nuclear, not fusion, which is what our current systems are, but nuclear fission. They are making progress there, which does not have the nuclear waste byproduct that we deal with now. But solar, they've come so far with solar. If you can afford it, or if you can get one of these.
There's
programs,
so many deals, though. There's so many deals.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Statewide,
Do it. Go solar.
100%. 100%.
For a lot of reasons, and one of the main reasons is you're no longer dependent upon that government utility.
If you want to keep your V8 in the garage and just cruise around on the weekends or your off time, buy an electric vehicle. I'm thinking about that now because if I get this new job, it's going to be about an hour away. And I'm thinking about getting an electric vehicle. Just a shitty, like, I don't need to show out. I just need to get from point A to point B. But if I put 4 solar panels on my roof and tie it into the 220, I'm going to have plenty of, like, I'm going to be able to fill up my car in a 250 to 300 mile range and be able to get back and forth to work for 2 to 3 days. And it's not going to cost me literally anything because the solar panels will pay for it.
Yeah. It's
Like-
an investment that will pay for itself over time.
Right.
I would
And-
encourage you to take it one step further and go ahead and put the battery system in and put more solar panels up and run your house on it. And then if power goes out, you still have the batteries to run for.
Well, my house is big, but not that big. But I do hear you because there's a section of our yard in the back, like at your place and at the place, the sub lot for me next to your house. We could do that. We could actually cordon off a section of land and have
Oh, I
enough
could
solar
put-
panels.
I could put 4 acres of solar panels in and sell power to my neighbors if I wanted to.
Correct. Which is not a bad idea. But the fact that this company, this is for responsible solar, is trying to tell me that I'm going to get health problems from this is pretty obscene.
Kids are going blind, man.
That still cracks me up that they said this. And the fact that if you do the research, people, we've told you sheeple 100 times.
And the electricity you get from solar, it's not as safe as regular
No.
electricity.
No, not at all. It falls into your electricity in your house, but no. And like I said before, if you're a sheeple listening to the show, educate the masses, educate who you can, but be educated yourself and to understand that this is, you can use fossil fuels. I love a V8 engine. I love, Primo does too.
Oh, yeah.
It's something that's going to be a hobbyist, but for my family and my home, oh, fuck yeah. I'm going to go digital. Not digital, solar. 100%. It's just, it's a non-negotiable thing. And the fact that there's a person out there that's creating a false sense of reality because she's paid for by the fossil fuel companies to project this negativity about solar and electric in a whole. Like, do your research, people. We've told you on the show before, don't be a sheeple. Do your research. Look at these companies. Look at what's going on. Like when Fremont and I were doing the NFTs, it's the best example I can give. When we were doing the NFT investigation for our show, for the news research, it was obvious that every one of these were fucking shell companies. Every fucking one. NFTs. You're buying drugs or you're buying something else and filtering it through NFTs. And that's just shitty. You know who would, I'm going to tie this in and do a segue. You know who would make a great cartoon out of this?
Bill Waterson.
Fucking 100%.
Best cartoonist in our lifetime. Calvin and Hobbes is the shiznit.
If you're in the Gen X and you haven't watched or even looked at Calvin and Hobbes, start doing it because it's legit how we grew up. 100%.
I regret that I lost my entire. I literally had every Calvin and Hobbes book and collection. That
Did you?
could get. Yeah.
There's 3 books. You had them all?
3 books. There's more than that, brother.
Really? There was 3
yeah.
books. Really?
There was 3 compilation books,
Yeah.
but he had a bunch of collections.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I had them all.
Yeah, Bill Waterson, he's coming out of retirement.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I'm excited. He's
Yeah,
got a different perspective.
Yeah.
Kind of like the guy Gary Larson from The Far Side.
Yep. Love
Totally
him
different
too.
perspective.
Love him too.
And yeah, I'm interested to see what this is going to be about because it's specifically going to be an adult,
Yeah.
illustrated book, but for adults.
Yeah, it's coming out in October. And it says, a long ago kingdom is afflicted by an inexplicable calamity. Hoping to end the torment, the king dispatches knights to discover the source of the events. Years later, only a single battered knight returns. I'm kind of looking forward to this. Because he really nailed our generation. Like growing up.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
He did. So the fact that he's doing an adult-oriented one is going to be great. And I posted a link in the show notes. And if you look, just a simple link, Fremo, if you could look over in the YouTube video where he looks at Calvin and goes, look, I need some material. I can tell you for a fact, my mom looked at me when she was the editor of a local newspaper, and I've looked at my kids like, hey, look, this week's been really quiet, but can you do something stupid? So I can talk about it. It's awful, but it's still later. It's just great to see Bill Waterson back out. It's going to be good. I can't even predict that it's going to be bad in any way.
No, I don't see any way that it could be.
So the final news this week is something that Freeman and I have talked about before, and it's so bad. Let me just compose myself. All right. So a genetic engineering company called Colossal Biosciences said that they're going to try to resurrect an extinct dodo bird. Great, right, Free?
You would think.
They got $150 million in company funding by a bunch of VCs. Still with me?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get to the live feed on YouTube.
Okay. One of which was funded by the CIA.
I don't see it up.
That could be a problem, right? If you're funded by the CIA.
I don't know. Ask AOL how that's going.
Oh, that's good shit right there. So
Did I just put us back on a watch list, didn't I?
You did. We were being off of that for 5 years.
Damn it.
So the company has 3 targets free. The woolly mammoth. Okay.
Yeah, I saw
All right.
something on that this week that they're. It's the same company. They're going to do
Yep.
the dodo.
Yep. Dodo. But and then nonchalantly at the end, put in, hey, we're also going to do the Tasmanian tiger.
Yes. Heck yeah. Screw
It's
the
the-
dodo.
It's the largest carnivorous marsupial of all time.
Yeah, we need more of that.
This is not a good idea.
That's like meats on a stick, man. You can't have enough.
What could possibly go wrong, Free?
I don't know. Maybe we could come up with a movie universe exploring that idea.
You thought that AI...
We could call it...
Say it.
Jurassic something.
Was it Jurassic Era?
Heck yeah, the Tasmanian tiger.
Right. The biggest marsupial carnivore ever. Yeah, let's just bring back that into the wildlife. And you thought AI was bad? You thought AI was going to kill us all? Wait till you have to stay at home. You have a stay-at-home order because there's raptors on your street.
But I mean, you're talking. I mean, yes, it is a carnivore, but it's also a marsupial. So they're not marsupials are not large species.
Come
Like
on, Free.
Possums are marsupial.
What happens if
Alright.
they decide that raptors are okay?
And
It's just the
kangaroos are
beginning.
marsupials. Do you
Just the
want to,
beginning. They're angry. Fuck you. They're angry.
Oh, kangaroos are nothing to be messed with, man. I love watching videos of people being stupid because they're kangaroos are so cute.
No, they're
Winnie
not.
the Pooh, rude,
They're
ha
angry.
ha ha, bam.
Yeah, they get punched in the face.
I mean,
But
there's people that die from the kangaroos. Like if they kick them in the chest,
Oh yeah.
they get too close to a
fuck
kangaroo.
yeah.
Screw. I mean, you're lucky if you get off with a boxing match. If they decide they're gonna lean back on that tail and thump you with their hind legs, you're done.
It's over.
It'll crush.
It's over.
It'll crush your chest.
100%. It'll crush your rib cage.
So yeah, we need something to control the kangaroos. Bring back the Tasmanian tiger.
You thought AI was going to kill us? It's not. Wait till you have to stay at home. You have a stay-at-home order for raptors. That's what I'm talking about.
The woolly mammoth. How big were those? Like they dwarf an elephant, right? Elephants are huge. They dwarf elephants.
Yep.
Okay. Where are you putting these? Is this our plan for dealing with Russia?
Right.
We're running with woolly mammoths again?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to put them in the Sahara. That'd just be cruel. Siberia is really the only place that has room for them.
Yep.
Don't think Russia wants them back.
No.
But anyway.
But think about all the dangerous people, the dangerous animals that they're going to do with this. Seriously. Like,
I mean, what are you gonna
seriously. What? I don't want to stay in home order because of a raptor.
Well,
why'd you start with like white rhinos or pandas? How come those aren't mentioned?
Well, because one, they're not extinct yet.
About to be.
Well, they're no longer found in the wild. I'll grant you that, but they're not extinct.
There's like 2 white rhinos.
There's no challenge. There's no challenge in that.
Oh my gosh, Free. No, that's not good.
And you really want to bring something back? I want the saber tooth.
Oh my god.
Bring back the saber tooth.
That was a huge animal.
Like, hey, Mr. Lion, you're king of the what? Meet my buddy Saber here.
Oh, fucking.
Now I'll get you some.
Oh my god. All right. That's
Seriously,
all I got for this
mean,
week.
if you're going to bring back the woolly mammoth, you got to bring back the saber-toothed tiger to keep the herd population down.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm just saying.
All right.
I mean, if we're going to do this, let's do it responsibly. You can't bring back a large species like that and not introduce a way to control it. And nature already gave us that way.
I actually agree with that.
Nature already gave us that way. It's the saber-toothed tiger.
And I really find it hard to disagree.
And next you have to reintroduce the Neanderthal man back into society.
Oh my god!
Freaking take care of the saber tooth.
Bullshit.
All right.
Do you know how to handle a saber tooth? I don't.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm gonna lock my door.
Either stop with the nonsense of bringing back extinct species, or do it all the way. Quit half-assing it.
All right.
This has been a philosophical moment with Fremo.
I don't even know what to play for that. Do I play this one? Or do I play this one?
No, you should play. You are correct, sir.
All right. You got anything else?
Oh, I could go on this topic for a while, but yeah, nothing new.
It's time.
Oops. All right. That's the. I don't even have the words.
That's it, folks.
Just your
Tits
idea
down,
of,
show's over.
no, wait. Just the idea of the woolly mammoth being controlled by the saber tooth, like that's just bad on bad.
Are you gonna go hunt woolly mammoths?
No.
Is anybody else gonna go hunt? Well, poachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it works out. Maybe we hold off on the saber tooth thing.
We are the dominant species.
Ease the sanction on poachers. Maybe they'll leave the rest of the rhinos alone. Maybe that's what this is about. Maybe this is how we save the rhino and the elephant from poachers. We get
And
woolly
the
mammoth.
panda. Don't forget about the panda.
Poachers go after pandas? I didn't know they
No,
had tusks
but
and shit.
yeah. Well, no. I hate you. Oh, I hate you so much. All right, that's it for this week's 10 Down show's over.
So you can find more of this garbage at bgfgonline.com. You can also send us an email with your questions or suggestions at bgfgshow@gmail.com. Find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast, Podcast, Castro, Castbox, Podchaser, and YouTube. Thank you for listening.
We are